We're going to do an office tour of our new office on the Alameda in San Jose. And with us, we have Kelly Burnett, who's the office manager in our house. She knows more about this project than anybody else. So Kelly, tell us a little bit about this project.
So this house was built in 1910 and designed by Julia Morgan, who was the first woman architect licensed in California. It was built for the Hearst family, which was a family that manufactured all the wood products for the West Coast and serviced everybody up and down the coast, especially after the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco.
This was really one of the first Julia Morgan projects to be on the Alameda and really is architecturally amazing. You come up along the pathway into the entryway and we have this one arch. And we don't have a lot of arches in the house. In fact, I think there's only two and they're right here. But you walk into this very kind of gentle, warm space. It's got this wood ceiling, both in the entryway, but also over the area where the cars come in. And then you have this unbelievable door. Explain to me a little bit about this walnut.
This is Bastogne walnut, and it was a relatively new hybrid at the time developed by Luther Burbank. And the hybrid made these incredible burl sort of patterns in the wood. This was one of the first houses that really made use of it.
So let's go inside and we'll take a look. And the look you get when you come in, just the view is just extraordinary. I've never been in a space that made me feel so small and yet made me feel so welcome. I don't know if it's the size of the space or the fact that you come up from 2 or 3 stairs down into the space, so it's a lot more kind of welcoming, or it's the warmth of the wood.
It's formal but not pretentious.
It is, and it's just, I mean, look at the woodworking in this place. It's just extraordinary. Even the massing, the railing is actually low, artificially low, so it wouldn't even pass code these days, and yet it's gorgeous. And it continues on, it gets higher up there, so like even the spacing of the rails was intentional for giving you like a more open feeling in the space. Because imagine if it was a foot or two higher, it would totally close off this entire space. What she has done, not only with the materials, but just with the sizing of the space is incredible. And the space in front of us used to be a portico, so like an outdoor sitting area. And we can actually tell that because the staircase going down the door, the only door in that space is actually 16-inch step, but it really did a nice job, and it offers this beautiful view of the trees beyond. And then we walk into what has got to be one of the most amazing spaces I've ever been in. The Bastogne walnut here is just incredible. The craftsmanship is perfect. The fact that every panel on the wainscoting is a book match, which means they slice the tree and then they split it open. So you see basically mirror images of the wood. Like, tell me a little bit about this room. Was this the family room or was it right?
This is the living room, and so this is probably where they did all their formal entertaining and would hold parties and things like that. So it's got a comfortable family scale to it.
So now we're coming back into the entryway and we're going into what I'm guessing is the formal dining room.
Yes.
And it has a lot more of the Clara walnut, and it has this coffered ceiling, but it feels more formal, more kind of, it's darker, not nearly as welcoming, more like, hey, here's how wealthy I am kind of look to it. And we have our own walnut table in here, which we actually ordered 6 years ago and used in our previous office. And then we have this window seat right here, also clad in walnut. And then we have this cabinet right here. We go from this amazing formal area through this, which is interesting. It's a pivot door, but it goes into a space that's not at all formal. And honestly, like, you can see a transition and you can actually see kind of some history of the house. So where are we going now?
So this is the butler's pantry. So this would have been the realm for the butler, the cook.
First of all, there's a very different step down in quality of materials here. We've got like painted wood, probably lead-based paint. And there's a countertop right next to the sink, which has seen 115 years of use. It's still like here, right? It's not rotted. So there's obviously been some care to this, but you know, I think the current day modern materials for countertops are better used here. So we're stepping into what I'm assuming is the kitchen, but it looks very different than a modern kitchen.
Originally, you can see here there was a dumbwaiter and some access for an ironing board or a cabinet. They probably had a table that would move around in the middle here. They probably had a stove. I think the stove might have been hooked up here. A lot of the workspace and stuff was up against the wall and the counters. So it was kind of a cramped space. A lot of the storage for things were elsewhere. So this was just sort of a working room.
And one of the things that I see is there's no space for a refrigerator. Like literally we have a refrigerator in front of an old window, and the basement has, which we're going to find out in a minute, has an ice chute. So obviously the basement functioned as the refrigerator.
Yeah, so they had an ice chute down there, but they also had a, off the back of this utility porch, originally they had a cold room back here.
So it's been an interesting kind of like evolution of this house. Now what we're walking into is a hallway, and this hallway is actually very small and narrow, and it's got the wainscoting, but it's definitely not Bostonia walnut. This is the cook's room, and we've actually got it as one of our offices now. And then next to it, we have the door to the basement. So now we come into this basement. Well, what's really interesting about it is that it's filled with stuff. And stuff that really didn't used to be here when this house was originally built, like these horrible ducts up above our heads. We have our dumbwaiter here. We have a water heater over here. And then over here, we have this kind of retrofitted in mechanical / low voltage room. And then we got these electrical panels, which obviously weren't here either.
So right here is sort of the end of the servants' quarters and access. So there originally was a door here. It's been taken off the hinges now, but you can see that the wainscoting changes dramatically from sort of a nice presentation to this beautiful Bastogne walnut.
And even this staircase is just like very kind of poor stepsister to the entry staircase. We have one more room off of the formal entry. Tell me a little bit about this room.
So this is the parlor. This is where people would have come in, and if they were waiting for somebody, they would have come in here and sat for a while, kind of a little library. You could have a short meeting here or just play cards with your friends or something like that.
This is my office now, but it's a beautiful space. And it's got really good access to the front of the house. And it's probably why it has its own little bathroom here as well. What we have here is one of the coolest kind of staircases I've ever been in. It's a little bit interesting in that you have all of these doors off of this main staircase. So there's not like one big open area here. We have one of our offices right here, and this office is really sitting out over the portico, which is going to be an incredible space by itself. It's a very, very exposed to the outside. And then the rest of this is just this dramatic, formal kind of entry up to what I'm imagining are all the other bedrooms of the house. We have, interestingly, an outdoor roof deck. And I'm wondering if this was retrofitted onto the house later on or if this was part of the original design.
It does show on the original blueprint.
Really?
Yeah, with the skylights shown there with the little bump out.
Wow. And now we're looking at really the hallways to each of the bedrooms. Right, so how many bedrooms were originally in this house?
4 bedrooms.
Let's go into primary bedroom number 1. Does not look like a master bedroom anymore. It looks like an office.
Yeah, this would have been the primary master bedroom, and we know that it was because of the communication system here is still labeled, and this is called Pierce. It has a lot of built-in closets right now, but originally this was an ensuite bathroom.
Now, did they do that because they were changing it into an office building, or was it still a residence for a long time?
It was still a residence probably until the 1960s or thereabout.
And then we have the door to another room, which seems to me that it may have been a kid's room.
Yeah.
So that parents could go directly from their primary bedroom into the kids' bedroom. Another bedroom that's turned into an office room. And it's got an interesting balcony off the side. And that balcony is beautiful, but every time you open the windows, you get a lot of road noise. And even when the windows are closed, because they're only single pane, they're not air sealed, you still get a lot of road noise in here.
Well, this place is designed for cross ventilation. So this was a lot of the cross ventilation plan because you've got windows that can open up on that stairway and get a lot of air coming through. So if there's any breeze at all, opening up the windows and letting it come through the house is probably their plan for cooling.
And we come to really back to that entryway. One of the things I love about this hallway is this room right here. I'm guessing was a closet And then this panel right here is really interesting because it's actually an electrical panel, and it's called a knob and tube electrical system. A lot of fires have been caused by a knob and tube system, but it's still beautiful. This is not active in our house, thankfully. It's just a throwback, and a beautiful one at that. So now we're in the less formal portion of the house, and we're walking back to what is the only bathroom upstairs. We got some modern tile that are trying to look old. We got an old clawfoot tub that is actually quite new. It's not at all damaged. So it's a beautiful bathroom, but I don't think anybody's gonna be using the tub in their office. And then we have another bedroom over here, and this bedroom is actually the plan room. And it's interesting in that we have like 8 or 9 different faces in this one room. All these different spaces, different ceiling heights, different ceiling shapes. So now we come back again through a doorway into the very informal servants area. We have this staircase that goes up to the attic, which is a very interesting space. And the other staircase going down back into the maids and the chef's room, into this space right here. And this is our sample room, but this was probably the 4th bedroom.
Yeah, well, no, this was the servants, the maid's bedroom. And so it's in addition to the other 4 family bedrooms.
We come into the backyard, and honestly, this backyard is extraordinary. I've lived in the Bay Area for like 22 years now, and to have a backyard that's a whole yard that's a half acre and a backyard that's about a quarter of an acre
This is palatial.
Is palatial, and it is beautiful. And we have these oak trees standing above us that are just absolutely extraordinary. Like, I can't even believe how lucky we are to have this space. Not only to have a Julia Morgan designed house, but to have it on half an acre that looks like this. We even have our little shed right here, which has seen better days. This is about a 6,000 square foot house. It's about 2 miles from downtown San Jose on this wonderful boulevard that is the Alameda in San Jose. It is beautiful. And, we're going to talk about how we're going to take this house and make it into something not only beautiful, leaving all of the charm that Julia Morgan designed into this house, but really showing what we can do to an old, building science by crappy house and make it really something comfortable and warm without changing any of its character. I'm really looking forward to that. And Kelly, thank you very much for this walkthrough. This was absolutely fantastic. I feel really honored to be the protector of this project and this house. Julia Morgan did an extraordinary job. The craftsmen did an amazing job of putting this together. The workmanship is flawless, and the design is just something to make you really feel amazing about. We plan on upgrading this house to make it more comfortable, more energy efficient. Kelly, I really appreciate you taking us on this tour, and I'm really excited to show you what we have in store for this project. If you're interested in learning more about building science or about Julia Morgan, please hit subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.